Greetings and welcome to the 2025 Lancaster Theological Seminary Academic Prizes presentation. Each spring, the Lancaster Theological Seminary faculty select the student recipients for a series of prizes recognizing individual achievement. We thank the generous benefactors who make possible these awards that recognize the hard work and talents of our seminarians. This year, we were privileged to award 13 students with academic prizes and the son of one student. And now for the winners. The Reverend Dolores Berry Liberation Theology Preaching Prize is awarded each year to the student who preaches a sermon that best embodies the principles of liberation theology. Preference is given to a graduating senior. And this year's recipient is Elisa Palmer. The Class of 1892 prize for the best written sermon is awarded to a student who, in the opinion of the faculty, has written the best sermon. The prize is to be awarded on the ground of truth and the literary finish with which the sermon is prepared. This year's recipient is Elisa Palmer. The Herman M. Lutz Prize in Christian Education is awarded to the seminarian or seminarians who have demonstrated special gifts and competence in the teaching office of ministry through field education, the parish training program, or other local church experience, as evidenced through and supported by such things as the creation of curricular resources and or models for teaching, a videotape of an outstanding teaching event, and seminary classroom leadership. This year's recipient is Pamela Greer. The Schaff Prize in Church History is awarded to a seminarian who has completed the introductory church history course and who writes the best paper on an assigned topic in church history during the academic year. This year's recipient is Elisa Palmer. The Glenn Dean Memorial Prize is awarded annually to the student who has made the most significant contributions in the arts, church music, or contemporary worship. This year's recipient is Julia Snyder. The Richard B. Hull Memorial Scholarship Fund was set up to provide a cash scholarship for the musical enrichment of a child or spouse of a full-time candidate for a master's degree at Lancaster Theological Seminary. First preference given for the child of a student and second preference for the spouse of a student. This year's recipient is Justin Hampton, son of Richard Hampton. In submitting the application, Richard mentioned that, quote, "My son Justin has expressed an interest in music. He currently plays drums and has expressed an interest in learning to play the piano. He is on the autism spectrum. Music has been a powerful tool that has aided in his social interaction and communication. Congratulations, Justin. The Edith and Robert T. Fouth Prize was intended to be used to award the highest-ranking students in the Master of Divinity degree program with funding to assist them with book purchases. This year's recipients are Kelly Johansson and Richard Hampton. The Guy and Emma Moyer Prize is given to a student recipient to continue their research and education through the purchase of desired books. This year's recipient is Denise Young. The Dr. Paul Reed Pontius Memorial Prize in Worship is awarded to a top student in the area of worship. This year's recipient is Gary Baracco. The Reverend Thomas W. Rhodes Prize in Biblical Interpretation, the category of Old Testament, is intended for the purchase of resources to aid in the interpretation of Scripture and to the seminarian who has demonstrated excellence in work in Old Testament courses and who shows promise of creative and responsible use of the Old Testament in the teaching and preaching ministries of the church. This year's recipient is Julia Snyder. The Reverend Thomas W. Rhodes Prize in Biblical Interpretation in the New Testament category is also intended for the purchase of resources to aid in the interpretation of Scripture and to the seminarian who has demonstrated excellence in work in New Testament courses and who shows promise of creative and responsible use of the New Testament in the teaching and preaching ministries of the church. This year's recipient is Thomas Rim. The Frederick Schaeffer Prize in Church and Community is awarded to a seminarian chosen by the faculty who demonstrates excellence in the field of religion and society during the academic year. This year's recipient is Vivian Utsi Davis. The Faculty Prize in Theology is awarded to a first-year student in the MDiv degree program who demonstrates a high degree of creativity and analytic rigor in the study of theology through written work composed for any class. This year's recipient is Jessica Shope. The Barbara Kirshner Daniel Prize in Field Education is awarded to a Lancaster Theological Seminary student who demonstrates special skills, competence, and creativity in the pastoral field. This year's recipients are Mark Ochterman and Kimberly Johnson. The Right Reverend Dr. Nathan D. Baxter Prize is given to students demonstrating promise and commitment to inner city ministries to congregations of color. This year's recipient is Richard Hampton. The Frank Stoffa Faculty Prize in Pastoral Theology in memory of the late Frank Stoffa is awarded to a student who demonstrates effective practices of pastoral care in both parish and non-traditional ministry settings. This year's recipient is Jenna Duranko. Congratulations to all academic prize winners. Your certificates and monetary prizes will be mailed to your address of record. Graduating seniors will receive a golden cord for each prize awarded to be worn on commencement day. And now for the Seminarian Community Council election results. For Seminarian Community Council Moderator, the winner is Devin Jeffers. For Secretary, the winner is Tamara Pammer. Congratulations to the new executive leadership of the Seminarian Community Council. Let us give our thanks to the outgoing moderator, Vivian Utsi Davis, Vice Moderator, Mark Ochterman, Secretary, Joanne Ludy, and Member at Large, Kelly Johansson, for their service. Congratulations to all our 2025 graduates. For the Pennsylvania Academy of Ministry Ministerial Institute Certificate, Janice Geringer. The Master of Divinity degree, Luvinia McDougald and Julia Snyder. The Master of Arts in Ministry and Leadership degree, Jenna Duranko and Thomas Rim. And the Doctor of Ministry degree, Wendy Cooler, Jenica Eckhouse, Desna Henry Goulbourne, Kelly Johnson, Mandy Mastros, Rosalind Selman, Timothy Shaw, and Rebecca Schillenberg. This ends our presentation.